Hi everybody. Light's kind of bright back there. Let's see if I can see any comments. Hi guys. Amy here. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I know I said I'd be on at 7, but I've literally been so nervous about doing this and coming on my Facebook wall, not just going live in my beauty group, which I've been doing for the past week and a half. This month is national, well, it's Mental Health Month for the month of May. So it's all about bringing awareness about mental health and the struggles that people who face these illnesses deal with, and how to see signs when someone is really struggling and going through something difficult, and what you can do to help them. So, hi everybody. Hi Amber. Hi Serena, Nicole, Sarah, Janita. So thankful for all of you for just popping on and saying hi. I really appreciate it. This is something that I've been kind of thinking I should do, but being so terrified about the repercussions, or just being scrutinized, and for people to, for putting yourself out there to be judged is basically how I feel is what this is going to do. But it's okay. I'm strong enough to deal with it, so I'm just going to go for it. For those of you who don't know me, I am a stay-at-home mom. I just stayed at home during my pregnancy, and then I haven't gone back to work since then. Thank you so much, ladies. You're so sweet. And I am 36 years old. I know, shocking, because I look like I'm 20, right? But kidding. But I've been dealing with depression and anxiety since I was a little girl, which, some people might think like, whoa, how can that even be possible? Like, how do little kids end up getting depressed and having anxiety? But it just happens. We're just humans, and, we are definitely susceptible to different things and environments in our life that can kind of steer us down a path one way or the other. And some people just have the genetic makeup which makes them a little bit more predisposed to face these challenges in life. And maybe it's a little bit of both for me. I was adopted. I don't know my birth parents. I was born in Korea, raised in an orphanage for the first 3 years of my life, and I have no memory of that. Of course, I was young. But knowing that, and then coming to the States and living in a foster home where things weren't, thanks ladies. Oh, you're so sweet. I don't feel young, but yeah, thank you. At least I can look young sometimes, right? But having that background, and then growing up knowing that this is your background, maybe that contributed to a lot of what I deal with. Who knows? There are a lot of reasons, and then sometimes there are instances when you deal with these illnesses that there may not be an obvious reason or cause to what that person is feeling. For me, I can pinpoint it a little bit more, but still there's some question as to why now at this age, when I've overcome so many of the obstacles and challenges of my youth and being a teenager and people being teenagers, I don't know. Why now in my later years, in my 30s, when I'm established who I am, I'm comfortable with who I am, I love who I am, I'm happy, generally happy. I have a beautiful daughter and a husband who is the world to me. He supports me in everything. Even at moments in my life when I look at myself and think that I shouldn't have the love and support that he gives me, he does, unconditionally. So what I'm going to talk about is, and this is a topic that I could probably talk about for 20 sessions of these things, but I don't want this to be an all-night thing. I want to get to the point. And the point is, I still struggle with depression and anxiety in being 36 years old, being a stay-at-home mom who loves being a stay-at-home mom. It is something that I prayed and prayed over, was to be able to get pregnant and, you know, stay pregnant and have a baby of my own. And I was finally able to do that through the miracle of science and IVF. And it was, you know, a big financial burden for us, but we got through it because it was something that we were just determined to do. Yeah, you struggle to turn that alarm off. Hopefully that's not going to keep going off. Yeah, see, you know, I think that a lot of people may, you know, go through bouts of depression, go through times where they're really low and or really anxious, but there is a difference between getting down and having blues and then being actually diagnosed by a doctor saying you're depressed, that you deal with major depression. And that's what I've gone through. When I was a teenager, I was diagnosed with major depression and started taking medication for it. I've been on so many different medications. Many of them, I think, don't work and can do more harm than good. But it is a combination of medication. I take one medication, and I'll just share with you that is Zoloft. I've been comfortable and I've been on it for years, since my early 30s. And that is when, honestly, even having depression my whole entire life, that is when I was truly able to grasp that this is something that I'm going to deal with for my whole life, probably until the day I die. I need to get a handle on it. I need to not solve it or figure it out, but I need to know how to cope with it so that I can go on living my life and I can have some kind of happiness. Brian, my husband, has been a huge part of that. I think without his support and encouragement, I wouldn't really have ever faced this. I probably would have just let myself go and go to that other side that we don't want to go to. And I think that being a person who is mostly private, who doesn't want other people to judge them, for so long in my life, being a teenager, I think there's so much pressure to be popular, to be pretty, to be liked, and not enough emphasis on being smart and other things in life that are going to help you in the long run. And I think because of a lot of those pressures in high school, it kind of leads women, girls, and boys, not just girls, but to pretend like everything's okay and to just put on a smile, because a smile can hide so much. I smile a lot, and a lot of times, and now you're probably going to look at my pictures or my videos and wonder, is she smiling because she's happy, or is she smiling because that's what she wants people to see, and because that a smile can hide what's really going on? And the truth is, maybe it's half and half. I am finally able to say that I am happy. I do love my life. And I have an amazing life. I'm not bragging or anything, but I have a good life. A life that I always dreamed that I would. But it hasn't always been like that. You know, in high school, things were tough for me. It wasn't you know, that visionary fairy tale of going through high school and being popular and liked and smart and driven and knowing what you want to do. I wish that I had that high school experience, but I didn't. Maybe it was self-inflicted, I don't know, but I struggled, and it's not until my later years that I've realized that, you know, it's okay to have a difficult experience, and then to move on from it and to be happy is totally possible. And in fact, I like to believe, it might be naive, but I like to believe that it's something that anybody can attain, that people can overcome these experiences that may be heartbreaking or spirit breaking, and to come back from that and to be stronger and still be positive. Brittany, yes, that's so awesome that you do that. I hope that a lot of parents these days do emphasize being brave, standing up for what they think is right and not what they think is cool. I hope that our teenagers and youngsters are learning that every day from their parents and from the influences around them. But the fact is that there's still a lot of negativity that can start, like bullying, more things like sexual abuse, and these things can happen from a very young age and then can kind of lead into depression and anxiety. One thing that I would really stress for someone who has a young person who may seem like they're kind of out of control, there are signs to look for, and some of the signs to look for are going to be high-risk behavior, which is, you know, can be a number of things, but a few things to think about would be drug use, alcohol abuse, especially for a teenager. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of youngsters who experiment with drugs and alcohol, and, you know, I don't have a teenager, so I can't tell you how to deal with that, but it may be something you don't even know about. So I think that being super involved, knowing where your kids are as much as you can without being, you know, without not trusting your kids. It's more about the people around them. And, oh, you're sweet, Kim. Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's definitely possible to overcome. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. So a lot of things, okay, so the drug use, alcohol abuse, high sexual behavior, promiscuity. I think that a lot of these issues are things that you can see happening, but you might not want to think is really happening. So I think you just need to be honest. You know, a lot of people might say, like, I don't think this could ever happen to my kid. Like, my kid is happy. You know, she plays sports. She's a dancer. She gets good grades. But I think it's just better to be more realistic and to know that this can happen to anybody. It can happen to someone whose parents have been married for, you know, 20, 30 years. It can happen to people all the time who come from good places. But I think that you need to know that it's not anything to be ashamed of. Is one thing that I've had to learn over the years is that I shouldn't be ashamed that I've dealt with depression and anxiety, that I still deal with it. And I think that I want my daughter to know that it's okay to express your feelings when you're feeling them, because when you hide them, when you're ashamed of them, that's when it can do real damage, is when you're not able to share it. Like, you feel like no one's going to listen, no one's going to want to help you or be around you. I think it's so important to know that you have people in your life who are going to support you no matter what you're going through. And Up until now, I could count on my fingers like how many people really have known me and who have really known what I've gone through in my life, and sharing with everybody that I still deal with this, that I've dealt with this since I was a young girl, I think is huge for me, because, and what has happened to me is, in the past 6, 7, 8 months that I've been in network marketing, I've been putting myself out there. And yes, it's in a way where I'm pretty protected. You know, I show you what I want to show you, and that's it. But now I've gotten to the point where I've been able to open up to a few women that I, you know, have gotten to know pretty well, and knowing that they're there for me, and knowing that they would support me if I were to share my story, it means the world to me, because it's not something that I would likely have ever done had I not gone into network marketing, because I just wouldn't be confident enough to open myself up and to be vulnerable to basically anyone who uses social media. And I think that social media is such a huge part of everybody's life that there's really no better platform than this. And I'm not one who is seeking attention. I don't want sympathy. I don't want, you know, if you want to be supportive and send me some positive love, I'm for that. But I'm not out there telling my story to everybody because I want attention and I want people to feel bad for me. I want people to know that I am who I want to be, and I have been able to overcome so much in my life, and I'm stronger for it, and I'm able to be the mother that I want to be and the wife that I should be and want to be, because I'm able to still see light at the end of the tunnel, even at my darkest hours, which there have been many in my life. I'm still able to know deep down, now I may have to dig deep and search for that feeling of light, but I know that that this is something that anyone can overcome and can, at the very least, learn how to cope and manage and live a positive, healthy lifestyle while still dealing with this, because like I said, I always will. It's never going to go away. I wish there were a cure. This affects so many households all over the world, but there's no cure. The best you can do is learn how to manage medication. There are professionals out there you can talk to, but having at least one person in your life that you can talk to, no matter how dark it's getting inside your own head, I think is so important, is knowing that somebody out there is going through the same thing, and then having that support system, whether it's your husband or your mom, sister, best friend, whatever, whoever it is. Make sure you have somebody like that you can always go to for support. I think in the future I'm going to do, I'd like to be able to talk to other people who are wanting somebody to talk to. So if you want to talk to me about anything really, you can feel free to message me. I am approachable. I am a really good listener, and I like knowing that I want people to know that they're not alone, basically, and that you don't have to go through something like this alone, because it would be really lonely to be at the darkest place in your life and to not have anybody to lean on. I think that that is what pushes people over the edge to do something like take their own life. It's real and it happens, and I think that that happens when everything comes crashing down and they feel like there is no solution and that nobody cares. So with that being said, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. I know I was kind of all over the place. It's just not something that you can script. It just has to come from your heart. And thank you, Kim, for sharing that. That is a great resource. Absolutely. If you need any other kind of information, I'd be happy to post some links below. And if you know somebody, you know, who's struggling, you know, give them a call. Like, a voice can mean so much, because it's so easy to fake in messaging that you are doing fine and that you don't need help. But when you hear a person's voice, it can make all the difference. I was on a call with my sister-in-law the other day, just last thing, and I've been able to convince myself and hide for like the past week because I've been really struggling since we got back from Korea with a lot of things going on in my own head, and just brought a lot of things to surface that I've been able to kind of hide from for my whole life. So being there in Korea, where I was from, it was just brought up a lot of feelings and emotions, and I've been able to hide from it by staying in my comfort zone, being at my house, not really talking to anybody. I haven't been going live. For those of you who do watch my makeup videos, there's a reason for it. I was just, it was very hard for me. So I talked to my sister-in-law, we did a video call, and it was like immediate. Like, I couldn't hide what I was feeling. I started crying, and then I immediately shut down because I didn't want to discuss it. But just know that a voice can make all the difference. So pick up the phone, call somebody, video chat with somebody. It can make a world of difference, and it could save somebody's life, truly. So thank you for watching, and I'm here for you. If anybody ever needs anybody to talk to, I am here. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.